Another day, another Bitcoin chart. So we're going to start off this video by quickly taking a look at what we said in the previous one. So that was on Friday, and the chart looked something like what it does in front of you right now. So here's the clip, and as we approach this trend line, if we can firmly break up through, just like that, and then round and come back, and ideally that point there would be perfect, where we get the intersection of the back of the trend line as well as that new support zone that was previous resistance. If we can find that area, if we can break up through and then find that area again, that will be a zone that I'm looking to get involved in the market. So what I expected to happen was the market comes up around here, rounds round to this point, and then up, something like that. Now we'll just play it back to see how the market actually played out. So we made a nice run up. We broke through the trend line here, and then we'll continue. We came right back down into this area where we intersect this previous resistance, finding support there, as well as finding some support on the back of the trend line. So this played out almost exactly as I wanted it to, and I did get into a trade here. And then from there, we consolidated along that support for a while, and then we just exploded upwards and we started heading towards the next resistance zone. And here we are. This is current real time. We can see we actually found really good resistance on that next zone. So this is why I quite often say that we need to trade from level to level if you're trading short time frame. So a lot of people will get in and they want to run it for $1,000 gain, $2,000 gain or whatever. And that's fine if you're willing to hold on to it. But a lot of people psychologically can't actually hold on to a trade when it's swinging up and down, especially something like Bitcoin that's extremely volatile. And you might be $500 in profit and the market comes all the way back on you and suddenly you find yourself you're $300 down. But you need to be able to sit through that turmoil if you're wanting to play out those $2,000 moves. And that may take weeks, right? But if you want to be in and out of the market quickly and not have to deal with these volatile swings, you need to trade from level to level. So that's why I've got all of these major levels drawn onto the hourly chart, so I know where that next level actually is. So in this case, if I wanted to get into the trade here, and I wasn't confident of running it. And in this instance, I wasn't actually confident of running it. And the reason for that is if we zoom out, we have this high, which was pretty significant resistance where we shot up to it really quickly and bounced almost on a dime and straight down and just absolutely collapsed off there. So this is a pretty significant zone. And if we pop onto the daily chart and have a look at it on the daily chart, it is a major swing point on the daily chart. And even though we have got above this log trend line right now, we still have this resistance zone that we need to break. And this is going to be pretty significant because we've got some highs up here and we found the last major swing high in that area as well. So I didn't want to get into a trade here and run it up into thousands of dollars of movement because we have this really significant daily resistance. And I don't want to have to sit through the market fighting in that area. So I'd rather get in on the touch of the back of the trend line, get out at the next resistance zone, and then wait to see what the market's going to do. And if the market breaks through this resistance zone, I'll get in on a retest of it. And if it doesn't retest it, then I miss that trade and we'll move on to the next one. So that segues quite nicely into my plan for today and the coming week. So I'll just remove this drawing off the chart and we can take a look at what's happening. So as I said, we've got this major daily resistance and we are approaching it. We're above this. So we're kind of in the opposite area to what I was explaining on Friday, where we were stuck between support and the resistance of the trend line. We're now stuck between the support of the trend line and this major daily resistance. So we're probably going to hop up and down. So what I may end up doing is if we do find some downward movement throughout the rest of the day, we might end up finding some support in this area where we found previous support, or continue down into this area and find this next support zone, which also coincides with another retest of the back of the trend line. If that happens, I may try get in long and run it up into this resistance area here. And we might end up then just ranging between these resistance and support areas for the next day or two. I don't know. So that's one scenario that may play out where I could get involved in a trade. But if we start to move upwards, I want us to cleanly break through this daily resistance before I'm going to start looking for positions. So what I'd like to see is a clean break up through this daily resistance here, and then round, retest, and then go long. That's what I'd be looking for there. I'm sure none of you are surprised, even though this is only the second video. This is how I tend to like to get long. If we break through a resistance area, come back, pull back, find that area as support again, I'll get in at that point and we'll go long. And if this scenario does play out, I would be inclined to hold this trade because we have a lot of free space in front of us. So coming back onto the daily again, we can see if we came up around here, we follow this trajectory and we get in long there. So that'd be getting in at around 11,800. And the next daily zone is up at 2,900. So that's $1,100 of movement that I'm definitely willing to hold for. And I would probably get out at that point, or maybe take half the position off the table and see how the rest of the position played out, because this will likely pose quite a lot of problems to us if we do manage to get into this area. If we start to break above this area, I mean, we have quite free reign up until like 16, 17,000. There's not too much. I mean, there is obviously quite a lot of congestion in this area, but there isn't a lot of hugely significant structural support resistance. There's just lots of congestion areas. So I'd be confident to hold it at that point, but that's probably not something that's going to play out today or tomorrow. So we'll speak about that in another video. But for today, like I said, I'm looking for a break up here, round down, retest of that as support, move upwards. And if we don't manage to move upwards, then I will be looking to potentially get in long in this area around 11,150, or maybe down here at 10.9, depending on how the price action. So I'm not going to blindly get in if we come down into this area. If we come down into the 11.1 area, I'm just going to start monitoring what the market's doing, very closely monitoring the price action, and see, is there any signs that we're going to stall at this point, or do I think we're going to go lower? If I think we're going to stall, then I'll start setting a bid in there and see if I can get a hit and move it up. But my stop will be pretty tight on that trade, because I do realize that we can come down into this area, and I don't want to get in there and then hold it all the way down to here and then have to hold it all the way back just to get to break even. I would rather get in here with a tight stop, and if we do want to move back down into this area, I'll get stopped out with a tight stop, and then we'll move down into this area and I'll just retry and get in again. And then if we break that, then obviously I get stopped out again. Then we just go back to the drawing board in terms of finding another area to get in. But I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts for the day. See how it plays out, and I'll see you tomorrow.